Okay, folks, we are working on another cat for the month of February. Holiday month, big month for a lot of people. I don't have anyone in my life, as I've stated multiple times in my video, and the reason for that is, I'm married to my work. The rats keep me company, and, like I said, I've tried dating, and, a lot of ladies just don't understand that when I have to, when I have to go and work with my rats and things like that, they get jealous, they get upset. Understandable. I understand they might want, they think that, it makes sense that, if we're together, I'm supposed to be there to spend time with them, and then I end up spending much of my free time just crafting rats, because I do this as work, obviously, but I do this mainly as my main hobby outside of work. I used to play video games here and there. I used to go to the park. I used to, leave the house. I don't really have interest as much in those things as I used to, and I think I might be better off for it. I think that this is healthier to just be, working with my rats. So, like I was saying, I forgot to intro. Hello, welcome to the channel, welcome back to the channel, etc., etc. But, yeah, right back into the previous topic. This is the Valentine's month special. Not because I love cats, because I love to hate cats, and you've probably heard it already 5-6 times this month, but a lot of reasons behind that, a lot of crazy incidents with cats in my life. I would say rest in peace, Callie, but to be quite honest, I'm glad the cat's gone. We boxed her up, and brought her down to the park, and kind of just left her there after what she did to my brother. And that's a tale as old as time. You get mauled by a cat as a child, and you end up with the cat scratch fever. You're never the same. And look at this. It forms the shape of cheek, ear, fang. It forms the shape of a cat. So, like I always say in my videos, the clay will take whatever shape it chooses to. And at the end of the day, it's really not up to you what happens with the clay. It is more or less up to the clay. So you have to kind of work with that. Now, something like this, you can kind of work however you want. You can have a tall-headed cat. That would be a little crazy to me, because they are kind of pancake-faced, flat-faced kind of creature. So you would take the larger, I would take the flatter surface. This is, you see how there's less flat surface here? You can do this. I'm going to take this. And you can look and see what you want. I think I want this little patch with the extra color to be right across the face. So what I'll do is, I'm going to go ahead and cut my extra clay. And I should have been explaining the clay process. I'm sorry, I was a little bit distracted there. But basically just took little blobs of other colors of clay and laid them on white clay, rolled it all together. There's other ways you can do this. You can cut up the white clay as well. You can make the whole thing. You can do it in a bunch of different ways. But basically what I'm doing right now is just finding that face shape, and the clay will find the shape itself. Now with this, you want to work this as little, and I repeat, as little as humanly possible. You don't want to overdo this. Imperative you don't overdo this time. And that's really, more than anything, a message to myself, because I do know that I am very likely to overdo this. Okay, so this cat is going to have a couple different distinct color markings. And you can choose where you want your cat to be. You want your cat to be like this or like this. Obviously, to me, this is more of a cat shape. And when you do pull the clay, you're going to get color mixing, which is why I'm trying my best not to do that. I want the cat to be kind of just a couple patches of color. I don't want it to go over the top here, mixing, blending, and all that. You could do that. You could go over the top and do as much as you wanted. So for me, I think I'm just going to leave it at that. Now what I will do is take this mixed kind of blob of color here, and you can fold this over itself, you can do a couple different things here, but what I'm trying to do is just find a nice section for the bottom of the face, and I am just going to kind of place that like that, join the clay at the bottom. Of course, what I'm doing here is forming the area for the scowl, where the scowl is going to be formed. So it's okay if it's a little bit uneven. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it to sort of have a little bit of color, kind of neatly placed. Okay. So this is the lower half is where the scowl is going to take place. The scowl is going to be positioned. So just go ahead and place that scowl. I kind of give him a little bit of an angry, look to the scowl. You can give whatever kind of scowl you want, but that's basically where we're going to be at with it. Boom. You don't want to kind of close the bottom pieces. I need a better scowl tool. I think I'm going to try to use the end of this brush. Maybe a smaller brush. And what I'm doing is I'm just gonna build kind of where the scowl is gonna go. Kind of build that out. While shaping the bottom in place, you don't want it to go too crazy here. You just want it to be. If you've ever been on the receiving end of one of these scowls, you would understand the terror, even just to reproduce one in clay that this is. Okay, so we're coming back, reshaping. A little bit of reshaping work is okay, but try not to do what I'm doing here. It's now beginning to look like a melted bowl of ice cream. That's not what you want ideally, but you know, some cats, it is kind of what they look like. Okay, so you see we're dealing with kind of one little drop that goes this way, like this. Then you can reform your scowl around that if you want. And one little drop that goes like this way, sort of like this. And again, feel free to reform that scowl to match those parameters. Okay, so I'm going to close that off. We're going to work this together. If you see any foil start to kind of position itself where it's not supposed to be, just go ahead and work that back in there, because you certainly don't want that. Okay, I'm going to pinch this face up here. closing the mouth now. As you can see what I'm doing here. Now I'm gonna just casually, calmly shape. Now a lot of people with cat PTSD, this might be the hardest part for you. You got to be right in there, and you got to kind of form that shape that has caused you terror over the years. Okay, now I'm going to pinch this section together. This is essentially going to be our nose. And you can kind of see our cat forming here. You can kind of see where we're going now. Again, just make sure the mouth is covered in there. You do not want any foil. This one is looking a little bit crazier than I usually like to see, and I think that's because I'm trying a little bit too hard to keep it preserved, keep the shape preserved here. Just reevaluate. I'm trying to keep the, sorry, not the shape, the colors too preserved here. And I think that's what's causing me a lot of stress right now with this particular cat. But we will get through it. We always get through it. Nothing to worry about. I do apologize. Sometimes I forget that I'm doing a video and that I have to kind of stay in the parameters of the video area. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and chalk this up. This one is not going to be the color we wanted. It's going to be kind of a mix of colors here because we are losing the shape here. Okay, so I can see right here where the shape is forming. What you can do is just like that. You got this section. You got this section. It's that simple. Now just clean up the insides here. Make sure that's kind of even. And then what we'll do is we'll take, I think we're just going to use some white clay for the nose, because the nose usually I will paint, whether it be black, pink, whatever. So we got kind of the scowl going on here. We are just going to take a little section here. And for a cat, you can just build a tiny nose because they don't really have prominent facial features. You can just put a little nose on there, work that into your clay, and kind of see where we're going here. And I like to not pull the sides down. I like to just allow the sides to kind of be like open a little bit, because that's what cats actually look like to me. Okay, now Well, we have the mouth open. We'll work on our fang placement. I'm not in love with this shape. Let's just slightly readjust that. Very slightly readjust that. Okay, so we're going to place the fangs. This is an important part because this will push the lip up a little bit as well. So you want to place your fang, but make sure your tooth is in there facing the right way, because this is not something you want to do over and over and over when possible. You want to just kind of get it in there, get it placed. This one is not going to work for this cat. This one is too big. Let's get a good tooth here. And you do not want to oh, and you see I kind of worked it a little bit here, and I butchered that tooth. This whole cat might actually be chalked up. This might actually, whole cat might be a loss here. What's going on? I think what's going on is it's just the pattern is making it look messier than it is, and that is kind of bothering me a little bit. So since this cat is a very colorful patterned cat, we're kind of dealing with, it looks a little bit messier. So what we'll do is we'll just drop the eyes on this bad boy. One. Sometimes you just have to trust the process even when it seems like it's not working out. And sometimes that will still allow you to come up with something that you end up happy with. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do two kind of bean-shaped eyes. And this is not in the correct spot. You don't want to make sure your eyes are kind of in the correct spot. These eyes are no good. These eyes have brown and black stains. You want to have white eyes or yellow eyes for a cat. You don't, or orange even. You don't want to have muddied colors on the eyes, because it will absolutely affect the realism of the cat. I'm being very careful with these to try my best not to keep contaminating them. Okay, that's pretty good. The second eye in, I got a feeling that this one's going to be maybe slightly too small. Or it might, yeah, very slightly too small. So we'll just take a little more paint. And this one's contaminated, but what we can do is, if we can keep it contained to one side, we can still use it and just put the contaminated side down, and you'll be okay. You do see this one is still way too big. I don't know what's going on here. If I made the eye too big, the eye socket too big, possibly. Or if I'm just trying my best not to contaminate, and I'm just doing a poor job of the eye, which is more than likely what's going on here. So this eye is not working out in my favor. I need it to be kind of rounded on the edges, and we cannot get to that point. And it's contaminated, okay. This one is kind of pissing me off a little bit, but that is okay. We will just work our way through it. And at the end of the day, we will end up with a decent cat, as far as cats go. Now that's pretty close. That's about as close, I think, as we're going to get on this beast. I am going to go ahead and find that contaminated section, because I am going to use that to make, I'll tell you what we'll do is, here's a good section right here. We can take this, add this, and mix it up a little bit. We'll split that in half. And these, since these two sections are both kind of mixed colors, it will be appropriate for the ear. And almost a candy cane kind of pattern on that ear. And I think it's shaped up to be better than I thought. Sometimes you have to just trust the process when it seems like your sculpture is coming out shitty, or when it's starting to work you up or frustrate you, just work with it. And I don't know what the technical term for this cat is. I think it might be a calico cat. I'm not really sure. That's the one my brother was attacked by. The first one my brother was attacked by was a calico cat, and that's why its name was Callie. A dumb name for a dumb cat. Because the truth is, the cat was out for blood the moment it met us, and it could have been me, you know, in that hospital, and it could have been me, you know, currently actually still suffering the ill effects of the attack. But you know, it could have been either of us. We walked into the house and met that cat on the same day, and it just chose him. And they're fickle. They're very fickle beings, and I'm not quite sure how they choose their victims, but that cat chose my brother as a victim. So okay, and what we'll do is just kind of blend this down. You don't want it to be too obviously detached from the face. This ear is a little too big, or the other ear is a little too small, I'm not sure. I think what we'll do is we'll just kind of do one of these jobs right here. I like the ear tips to be kind of sharp. And we'll fold that one over a little bit, maybe. Don't think we've done one of those. And I'll just kind of lightly brush this up. And I will place the whisker holes. Sharpen that nose up a little bit. Let's determine for sure the placement of the everything teeth. Okay, and there you go. That is that cat. That one took a lot longer than I expected, but it came out pretty good. So you got the front view, and I will come back after this is baked, and we will get some paint on this bad boy. Okay, we are back with this cat with the floppy ears, and we're just going to do our detail work. It is kind of more of a cat's eye shape. I think it's okay that I accidentally did that. Again, don't panic when a mistake happens. You can usually make it work for your benefit. We're just going to do a little dab of pink for the nose. A little dab of pink on the ears, nothing too crazy here. And we will be back when it's time to do the whiskers. Okay, I'm up to whisker time on this cat now. And I have 2 whiskers, and I need 2 more, so I got in my whisker bag. I'll just grab a handful because I am working on one more cat after this. And I want this to be a quick, clean whisker placement. So I'm staying positive, I'm thinking positive. And we will see how that works out for us. I can say the glue I use is no longer poisonous. You're no longer in any danger from the glue. I know that was a major concern back when I had to do that slight recall. We did have a couple of poisoning incidents, but that is now under control. Again, remember, this part is very important. You want to stick the landing on this glue. So if you feel the glue is off, go back and redo it. Take your time. So poor glue placement can absolutely ruin a cat. You can see this one's not really angled the way I exactly said it, but it's still pretty close. It's still usable. But it is enough for me to take notice. What you want to do is you want symmetry, so you want these to kind of have the same trajectory, like so. This one's obviously a little bit too long. So there you go, there's from the sides, there's from the front, and that is this cat done. I will post pictures. Thank you for watching.